How's it going, everyone? I'm Frank of Mirth Films, and today we're going to take a trip back in time and we're going to check out the Canon EF 24-105 f4 version 1. Just to go over some specs, this lens weighs about 24 ounces and has a minimum focus distance of 17.72 inches. It is an image stabilized lens and has USM motors. The filter size is 77 millimeters. So the reason why I wanted to talk about this lens today is because it is the lens that I really got my start with after my beginner camera setup. I first purchased this lens back, I want to say maybe 2017. I was at the time shooting a Canon T5 and a Canon 7D Mark II, and I was using the Canon 18-135mm EFS lens, which is a great lens for crop sensor bodies, but I knew I wanted better glass, especially because I was going to upgrade to the Canon 5D Mark IV, which I eventually did. Most of the time I used this lens was for concert photography, and I really like this focal length because when I'm shooting a music festival, 24-105 is a great range. I can get that telephoto shot, or I can use this for wide shots too because it is great at 24. I can go to the back of the venue and get a decent shot capturing the moment at a grander level. Now it's time to go over some pros and cons of the Canon EF 24-105 version 1 L lens. The first thing that I like about this lens is that it is sharp. It is an L lens, and you're getting good results with any L lens you buy from Canon for the most part. If you only have one lens, this is a great lens to have because of just the reach, which brings me up to my next point. This lens's versatility. That reach from 24-105 is spectacular. It really can do a lot for you. It is a great event lens. It is a great video lens. If you are a run and gun shooter and you have this lens, you really can capture everything. I mean, there's going to be some specialty things that you will need other lenses for, but for the most part, interviews, B-roll, you name it, this lens can capture it. Another thing that I like about this lens is the build quality. I think that the lens, because it's heavy, it's built like a tank, the focus rings feel really nice, and I've had this lens for a long time and they haven't worn out, and it's very well weather sealed. I mean, I've used this lens out in the rain before many a times, and I don't really worry about this. My last pro that I want to mention is that this lens is dirt cheap for being an L lens. Yeah, it's EF, not RF, but you can get this lens used for roughly $350 to $500 in 2023, which is a steal. It is a sharp lens, and I even recommend this over mirrorless third-party lenses. Yeah, it's an older lens, but at the same time, it works great with the Canon EOS R. I've used dual pixel AF with using this lens, never failed me, didn't really hunt at all in good light situations. And so for that point, why buy a kit lens that is a variable aperture for a brand new Canon EOS R body when you can buy the Canon 24-105 f4 and it's built like a tank L lens. Now it's time to talk about some of the cons of using this lens. The first con that I have is that it is an f4, so you're not going to get a lot of bokeh while using this lens unless you're using this at 105 really close. Yeah, you're gonna get some bokeh, but I mean, f2.8 is important if you're a professional. So for that reason, if you are a professional, I do not recommend buying this lens. I recommend buying the Canon EF 24-70 or the RF version, whatever you prefer. My next negative talking point about this lens is that it is an older lens. This lens was released originally in 2005, and there is a version 2 of this lens, which costs a little more, about double the price. It is sharper, but if money's an issue, I still recommend buying this lens. And lastly, this lens is on the heavier side. It's not 70 to 200 heavy, but it still has some bulk to it. It will weigh down the front of your camera if you are using this on a Canon EOS R, R5, R6, whatever it may be. So keep that in mind. Now, who is this lens for? Personally, I think this lens is for everybody, but if we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, I really think that this lens is for people who maybe can't afford an f2.8 zoom lens, or are just getting a full frame DSLR or mirrorless camera and need one lens and can only buy one lens. And this has the best reach, 24-105, great range. This lens can be used for concert photography, event photography, walking around, street photography. It is a jack of all trades lens. What do you think about this lens? Do you currently own one and have some good memories with it, or are you looking to purchase one sometime down the road? Either way, let us know in the comments section down below. My name is Frankie of Mirth Films, and thank you for watching this video.